Welcome everybody to CIS238 Introduction to Computer Forensics. So if that is a class that you signed up for, you are in the right spot. If not, you opened up the wrong video somehow and you're in the wrong place. But anyway, maybe I can convince you to kind of stick around and stay here. Now, let's talk about what we're going to do for this course. Basically, what my objectives are for today, which is our first day, is really just to go over the who, what, why, hows, and everything that we're going to be doing in the next few months or so. So really all as I want to do today is get you all comfortable with the class that you signed up for, because a lot of you have a ton of questions about what we're going to be covering and the amount of information that we're going to need to process and how we're going to get our assignments done, all that other good stuff. So by the end of our class, I want you to be comfortable with that, where you can walk out of here and know what you got into, know what you're going to be covering, and hopefully, be ready just to kind of jump right in. Now, before I get started, I just kind of want to put a disclaimer out there. Now, those of you that have had me before in other courses can probably attest to this, that my first day, maybe my first or second day of any course, I tend to be really scattered. I tend to kind of be, channel surfing mentally through all of this stuff. And I can explain why is, you guys are sitting here for the first time. I mean, you're just seeing, this material for the first time today. Now, me, I kind of see our whole semester, the whole 16 weeks, I already see in front of us. So it's kind of like everything's flooding in my mind at once where, I'm going over everything all at the same time. So be patient with me. I promise you that in, our upcoming classes, I'll be a little bit more focused and a little less spacey because, the first day we always have the chicken and the egg, paradigm or the cart before the horse, where it's hard for me to explain something without first explaining something else. So you're going to see me kind of bouncing back and forth. What I would suggest, though, is knowing how spacey your professor is not really to take any notes. Just listen. Anything that I'm going to be covering here today, I will be covering, as we go on. So maybe jot a few things down, but don't frantically just be sitting there with a pen and paper if you still do that, or, typing things into your iPad. Don't worry about that. I just want you to kind of like sit down, take a deep breath, grab a cold beverage, cup of coffee, depending on what time of day it is, and just kind of absorb what's going to be going on in this class. And like I said, maybe just write a couple things down, but don't really panic. Just kind of get the gist of what's going on. All right, I'm not going to go around and reach out to you guys and give you and get your complete autobiography, which most of you will appreciate, but I'll just kind of explain who I am, and again, without giving you my complete autobiography, but just what I am to you. My name is Bob Hendry, and I'm a professor here at Triton College. I've been here about 4 years. Before I was at Triton College, I was a professor at the Illinois Institute of Technology, where I taught in the IT program, the ITM program, Information Technology Management, and a little bit in the math and the computer science department, but mostly in the ITM department. As far as my background goes, my background is in IT and computer science. I have a pretty deep background in big data, in deep data mining, writing algorithms, writing different pieces of software for either big data or for large database management systems. So I run the gamut as far as technologies go. For databases, I use Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, and for languages, I'm pretty proficient in a few. I know everyone likes to say they know 20, 30, 40 different languages, but I don't know if that's really true. But I do quite a bit of Java development, quite a bit of C# development, and also some Python and some other languages you might not heard of, such as Scala, where I do some deep data. So I have a background in information technology, and I have a background in computer science, and I also have a math background in writing algorithms. And recently, over the past 5 years or so, I've been in the field of computer forensics, where I've been taking my IT background that I just mentioned and working with things such as technical aspects of forensics, such as getting data off of hard drives, IP tracing, determining the origin of emails, or the origin of electronic communication based on IP tracing, and going back to servers, and in some cases even looking at communication networks such as cellular networks and towers and pinging. So I've had some experience doing that over the past few years. And what I've been able to do is kind of like leverage my IT background, because I've been in IT longer than most of you have been alive, unfortunately. Well, that's a good thing that you're here and alive, but I'm kind of getting old. So I've been able to leverage that IT background into a computer forensic background. And more recently, I've been in the field of internet law, where I've been brought in on some consulting projects where I would provide computer forensic, maybe not testimony, but dispositions and discovery to different law practices and different law enforcement organizations, and kind of educating the people that don't necessarily have an IT background about what this all means. Like, how can we determine exactly where this email came from? How can we determine if it came from where the person said it came from? How can we determine where a specific message was sent? So I kind of got into the field of educating, maybe law enforcement and legal personnel that don't have a background in this stuff on the IT stuff and how this actually works. So that leads me to be here with you today in this course, Introduction to Computer Forensics. So that's kind of my background, and if you're interested more about me, you can always ask me. I don't necessarily talk about myself too much. Maybe, today a little bit, just so you know who I am and what my background is, and you're probably curious who's in front of your class, at least virtually, kind of teaching this stuff. So anyway, that's who I am. Now, what you see here is two things, if you look at your screen. Now, all of you at this point have received an email from me, hopefully within the past hour or two or day or so. Now, in that email, there was 2 links. Now, the first link you already found, because the first link is the video that you're watching right now. So you found the first link, so you're halfway there. Now, the second link that was in the email is what you see on your screen. Now you're saying, well, I see the video on the screen. Well, yeah, you're hearing and watching the video on the screen, but that link I gave you was a link to our syllabus, which you see in front of you on your iPad or your desktop, laptop, phone, whatever. That's what you see in front of you is our syllabus. Now, our syllabus is an important document, and let me explain to you why. Now, our syllabus is really our mission statement for our course. It's our document that we go back to look at what we're going to be covering. I go back to it too, just to kind of remind myself what the learning objectives are and all that other good stuff. So you know what syllabuses are for, so I'm not going to elaborate too much on the traditional uses of syllabuses, or syllabi. But in our case, it's more than that. It's kind of a roadmap too. A little more on that in a second, because in our syllabus, we have everything that we need for this course. Now, this is important because for all of us, we're taking this course virtually and remotely, which means organization is so important. It really is. I don't want to contribute to the problem, I will say problem, of just overloading you with different places to go for crap. Did you look at your email? Because I sent an email to the class last week that had our links for reading. Oh, yeah, did you look at our website for our blah, 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 blah? I try not to do that. I try to keep things as simple as possible and as organized as possible. Now, what that means for us is the syllabus. What you're seeing right here is the center of our course. It's going to have our due dates. It's going to have our assignments. It's going to have our attendance. It's going to have class announcements. Now, I want you to bookmark this syllabus because you're going to go back to it, because almost always, actually always, if you're looking for something, we're all busy. I assume that you don't hang on every word that I say, and you're probably multitasking this very second. So if you need to go and you have a question, hey, where's that sign-in sheet? Go to the syllabus. Did assignment 2 get posted? Go to the syllabus. It's all here. Does that mean I'm not going to be friendly and not answer your communication? Well, of course I will. But I'm trying to make you as self-sufficient as possible, and I'm trying to take a lot of stress out as much as I can and make things as easy to understand as possible. So the syllabus is important, and this is where you're going to find it. Now, I'm going to go over this, and I'm going to paraphrase the syllabus because you can read, but I am going to paraphrase what you're looking at and what this actually means. Now, what you have here is you got my name and how you can contact me and my phone number. Now, I'm text friendly. If you need to send me a quick text message, please do so. Phone, that's fine too. And that's my email. Now, once we get to know each other a little bit better, we're gonna add other methods of communication. I'm fairly comfortable with working in a remote environment. As a matter of fact, I've been working in a remote environment probably at least half the time over the past 20 years. Working in a remote environment is not new to me, so I am used to doing this. So if you need to contact me and you want to schedule a Skype meeting, a Zoom meeting, or Blackboard, whatever you got, let me know, and we can schedule something, usually within that day. If it's important, maybe even within an hour. Bob, I really need to contact you. Can you spend some time with me on Zoom? Send me a link, and we'll get it done. So this is how you can find me. I'm fairly reachable. I really am. But just be patient. When I say be patient, I'm not saying give me days or weeks to get back to you, but give me an hour or two, or sometimes if I'm busy, because I do teach other classes, I might have to get back to you, but I will get to you. My communication is generally pretty good. But let's talk about communication a little bit. Now, you're not going to get a lot of emails from me as far as emailing the group. Now, over the past couple days, you have received emails to me where I've emailed the whole class. Believe it or not, that's kind of the exception to the rule to me, and I'll tell you why. I don't like emails because I think that emails kind of confuse things. They really do. I mean, who likes digging through their emails for stuff? I don't. No one likes that. No one likes the guy that sends a billion emails out with a billion links in it, with a billion attachments in it, and expects everyone to read through them and kind of organize in their head where everything is. I'm not that guy. I'm never going to do that to you. So your days of searching through email attachments, at least for me, are done, at least for this class. So this is how I handle things. I put everything in the syllabus like you see right here. So I'm not going to send reminders out about when an assignment is due. I'm not going to put a reminder out when an assignment's been posted. I'm not going to put those reminders out because you want to know what? You already know. That's what we're doing right here. You're going to link to this page, to this syllabus, and notice it's on Google Drive, so you can get to it anywhere. That's one thing that at least I like about my classes, even before the P word. I'm not going to mention the reason why we're meeting remotely, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Even then, I was paperless, where there's no handouts. I mean, as far as paper goes, everything's electronic, as you see, the syllabus is as well. So anyway, to get back on topic here, what I want you to do, right? You're thinking, it's like, well, how are we going to do this? Because Bob's not going to send reminders out, right? Okay, this is what you do. We meet technically we meet on Wednesdays for our class, but we're virtual. We meet whenever you want to, okay? Right now we're meeting, technically. I mean, I don't know when you're watching this. You could be watching it a minute after I post it, or 3 hours, or 3 days, but we're meeting. You are attending class. You're here, okay? So what I'm saying is go to this syllabus, a couple times a week. Maybe Wednesday is probably a good time because I usually post my lectures on a Wednesday or a Tuesday, and then you'll see the link on the bottom. Don't panic because I'm only telling you half the picture. I haven't shown you where the links are yet. Don't worry, I'm going to get to that. I'm just trying to tell you how you can what's the word I'm looking for? How you can how you can approach this. I'm multitasking here. So that's what I want you to do. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is you have a lot less emails to open. You're never going to get a reminder from me. And, you're never going to get that email. Hi guys, remember, as a friendly reminder, that your assignment 3 is due on September 15th. And then a week later, I sent another friendly reminder. I want to remind you that I sent you an email a week ago to remind you. I don't do that. That stuff drives me absolutely crazy. So go to the syllabus, look at the bottom for the links of where the assignments are. And again, more on that in a couple minutes, and you'll be okay. Now, some of you are thinking, well, what if I miss something? Oh my gosh, if Bob posts something and I don't get to it within an hour, all right, I get that. So this is what I do. This is how I handle that. When I post assignments, right, what you're going to do is when you go and look at the assignments, you're going to notice that I always give you at least a week, usually 2 on the assignments. So don't worry about if you don't check the syllabus on Thursday or Friday that I just posted something that's due in an hour. Okay, I don't do that. No one likes that guy. I'm not that guy. So that way, if you check the syllabus, a few times a week, you're good. There's going to be no surprises. There's going to be no pop quiz. There's going to be no, oh, you should have known to go to the syllabus on Thursday to look this stuff up. You don't worry about it. Just check it a couple times a week. It'll all be okay. All right, so let's talk about what this course is and what it isn't. All right, this is a course in computer forensics. I'd like to rename it. So from now on, since I can do this, I'm going to rename this class Introduction to Digital Forensics, because everything that we're going to be doing isn't necessarily based on a computer, right? It's going to be based on digital communications and, basically law and evidence gathering in a digital world. So not everything's going to be on a computer. We're going to be doing some stuff with cellular networks, some IP tracing, and we're going to be doing a lot of things that, they have computers in them, but we're going to be doing other things as well, such as learning, hexadecimal, all that other stuff. Now, you can read the course description if you like, but I'm just going to paraphrase it for you. What is this class? Well, it's really kind of a law class and an IT class combined. Now, what does that mean? So some of you, I looked at your bios when you showed up for this class, and some of you, it looks like you're going to go into the legal profession and you're kind of getting a primer on digital law, digital evidence gathering, digital forensics, and computer forensics. This is a good class for you because even if you're not going to, go into your legal studies and eventually your legal career, if you're going to be kind of focusing in other areas, this is a very good topic to be in. Also, for those of you that are in IT, that are looking for a career in IT with maybe a specialty in computer forensics or a related field, this is a very good class for you. This class will not teach you to be an attorney, obviously it's a 200 level class, but it'll not really go into the details of what you need to do to be a lawyer or an attorney. But what it will do is it'll give you the tools and the background and the terminology to be able to go into the world of digital forensics and start getting a background in it, because you might wind up like me, where I'm not an attorney. I don't have a legal background, but I have an IT background. And, you have the legal types and the law enforcement types that, quite frankly, don't know, generally, I'm painting with a broad brush for sure, but generally don't have a background in this stuff. So when, someone goes to their office and says, yeah, well, I signed a contract from, Bob's Bell Bottoms and Beta, and it says there that the submission has to be in by midnight on the 30th, And I sent it by midnight on the 29th, but they're saying that it got there late. And an attorney might ask, well, it's like, well, okay, well, how do we determine exactly when this email was sent? And you're just like, well, just look at the date. Well, someone can spoof that. I mean, you can look at, you can look at the server traffic, you can do IP tracing, and there's other things that you can do to do that. Or what you can do is, for example, let's just say that, someone gets their hard drive or gets their computer confiscated for whatever reason. I'm not going to go into the reasons here, but law enforcement was able to get a warrant and possibly take your phone, or take a phone, take a computer, take a hard drive. An attorney might need someone to say, all right, well, how can I get information off of this? How can I take a hard drive out of a computer and what's called image it, take what's on there and determine, without an operating system. I mean, we're not going to boot it up and Windows is going to pop up, but just look at what's on there. Maybe when someone tried to delete something, so these are things that law enforcement generally doesn't do. The legal profession doesn't do, the judicial system doesn't do, but people like you could, where you could specialize in this field, where someone can say, okay, Bob, let's just say you're all named Bob, can you do me a favor? Can you take a look at this computer, grab the hard drive and tell me what's on it? Well, guess what? Attorneys can't do that. Law enforcement probably can't, and the judicial system probably can't as well. So this is what this class kind of prepares you to do. Things like that. And we're going to be hands-on most of the time. How can we be hands-on when we are remote? Oh, easily. Trust me. Our lab assignments are going to be using tools. I'm going to be giving you lectures, not like this, but like real demos where I'm going to show you how to do something, and then you're going to do the labs, the assignments, by yourself, but you're going to be doing them hands-on. For the first couple weeks, though, it's going to be sort of a little bit different, where we're not going to be doing hands-on. It's going to be a lot of watching and listening. That's going to change, though. But I want you to do two things. I want you to, number one, kind of fall into the class, get out of summer mode, clear the cobwebs out, and get your brain ready for learning. And two, get used to the methodology of this class. I don't want anyone to freak out the first week or two. Seriously, I mean, I don't want anyone to freak out about anything that we do. So I really am gonna keep things simple and easy. I hate to use that word because it's not really easy, but there's no surprises in this class. And the first couple weeks are gonna be easy peasy, smooth sailing. We're gonna be, going 75% speed. We're going to be getting used to the class. We're getting used to each other. But then we're going to kind of ratchet it up and maybe change it up a little bit and then start doing some more hands-on stuff. So anyway, this is what we're going to be doing. If you're watching this, go down to the learning objectives. These are just, I'm going to say guidelines, but I do cover all of them. This is what we're going to be doing in this class. Now, I do reserve the right to make left and right turns as we get into the material, because we're going to, some of this stuff is going to go faster than I predict. Some might go a little slower. So this is kind of our roadmap. But just like any maps, we can take shortcuts or we could modify things as we go. But this is a very good representation, if you look at learning objectives, of what we're going to be covering over the next 16 weeks. Now, give it a read. If you have any questions, reach out to me. About the reaching out part, I didn't want to scare you away with my big email high horse about spamming the class. Please don't think that means I'm against email or email communication. I'm not, but I think that email communication should be more one-on-one. So if you have any questions and want to email me, please do so. I will email you back. I'm just saying that before, I just don't like spamming. So if you have any questions, email works with these learning objectives. Skype, Zoom, text message, smoke signal, come to my house, bang on my window. That all works too. Now, as far as reading goes, no books to buy. All of our reading will be online. So if you look at your reading, we have various online media that we're going to be doing, PDF manuals, and you're going to see our reading links in a little bit. But as I said to you guys earlier, there's no books to buy. So that's really a good thing. One thing I want to mention about our reading, and I'd like to change this word because it's really not reading anymore as much as it's viewing. So basically what I'm going to have is I'm going to have, different links that are going to have different mixed multimedia on them. Like, for example, there's going to be a lot of videos, a lot of demos. So it's going to be a little bit different for a lot of you, where you might have images of, sitting down with a book on your lap, and you're not going to have that with this class. It's going to be more multimedia than anything. Now, let me give you some rules here, or some rules for success. And I kind of put this in here because I wanted to kind of explain something. We really have a contract to each other. I have a duty to really give you the best class that I can. And that's really what I need to do. Now, the devil's in the details, and, some days will be better than others. But I do have kind of, a duty to do that. But you guys have responsibilities too. Like, for example, show up, virtually. Try to make every video and do all your work. I'd like to say make sure that you attend every class, but even before these uncommon times, that is always blurred about come to class, because, you have to determine what class is, because half the time there's a online component anyway. So when I say show up, I mean do your work. I mean, just like if you go to work, or, you talk to your spouse or a parent or something, and they say, hey, listen, man, I need you to show up today. That doesn't necessarily physically be present. That just means to mentally be prepared to do what you need to do. And that's what I ask about you guys, is be prepared to do this stuff mentally. So know that you got some work ahead of you. Know that there's going to be some learning, and sometimes learning's painful. Sometimes it takes a little bit, but be ready to do it. Do the work. Ask for help if needed. I'm not going to bug you about if you understand something. And I know you're thinking, well, how are we going to communicate? People learn at different rates, and they learn differently. Some people like to put their heads down and kind of crank things out, and some people are more interactive and they like the collaboration. As we go through the course, I'm going to kind of get to know each of you virtually, right? So ask for help if needed. Great, please do so. I'm easy to reach. However, if I get to know you and I know you're kind of like the heads down guy or gal that kind of just likes to do their work, I fully realize that you might not participate as much as someone that likes collaboration. That doesn't mean that's a bad thing. That just means that everyone learns differently. But I want to say, please ask for help if needed. What I will do, though, is if I don't really hear a lot from you, I might reach out just to say hello. And if I do, I come in peace. I'm not coming to see what you're doing. I'm not going to look over your shoulder and ask if you're doing your work. I'm just going to basically reach out to you and say, if you have a quick 10 minutes, let's just have a chat. And again, it sounds ominous, but it really isn't. And just to see where you're at with this, maybe get some feedback. Participate. Now, again, this does not mean virtually if we do so. Like in a classroom, participation was always raising your hand and asking a question. Now, things work differently, right? A lot of people participate in different ways. You could participate by making a suggestion. You could participate by reaching out to me and saying, hey, Bob, do you have time for a 20-minute Zoom meeting on Thursday? Because there's something I want to go over. So that's how you contribute. And, I think that in these uncommon times that, a lot of things are, the way that we look at things such as participation and attendance are changing. And I think that's well overdue, because I always said attending class doesn't necessarily mean physically being there. And participating doesn't always mean raising your hand in class. It means that I could make suggestions or you can make suggestions for the class or participate in different ways. Also, be honest. All work should be your own. I don't necessarily look for plagiarism, but make sure that all your work is yours. You're not doing yourself any favors by copying and pasting things off the web. Now, my contract to you is basically the same. Well, the same sort of light, where, I'll come to class with a good attitude. I will try to keep things positive. I will keep things, upbeat as much as I can. Classes like this are a little bit different, because I'm kind of lecturing basically on nothing. I'm just lecturing on, how this class is going to be. But soon, starting in our next class, it's going to be less of this and more interaction. You're going to see me on video. I'm going to be doing things such as doing demos, and I'll keep things upbeat. I am respectful of your ideas and your background that you bring into the classroom. So this is where I like you to participate. I love hearing, even virtually, electronically, Skype, whatever, about, what things that you do and your perspective on how these things work. Maybe you have an experience with this stuff that you just want to talk about. I'm respectful to that, really. If you want to talk about it, bring it up, no problem. I'm open to your challenges. Bob, I don't think that's right. You're talking about IP, we're doing IP tracing. And if you're looking at the trace route, it doesn't necessarily follow the same route all the time because the routing tables are different and different kinds of routers. And I might say, well, not really, because most routers are Cisco and blah, 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 blah. But I'll be open to that, where your contradictions to things that I say opens up a conversation. And that's the point. Remember, the point for me, the point is not being right. It's about opening a dialogue and getting things to discuss. So I'm cool with that. I do use a variety of teaching techniques and modalities. That sounds like I just came from a seminar, right? But I am really big into e-learning. I really do. I really am. I really think that the days of attending universities and sitting down and having a stodgy schoolmaster with some sort of, blazer on with elbow patches telling you to buy $300 books and sitting there and giving you boring frickin' lectures while you sleep are over, and they should be over, and I don't teach that way. What I do is I try to use different modalities where we learn the way we learn through life. I mean, if you're learning at work how to do something, you're not sitting down with a book and someone explaining it to you. There might be a book. I mean, there might be an employee manual. There might be stuff like that. But we learn on the fly as we go through life. And you're going to learn on the fly here. As we go through things, we're going to have, different modalities, meaning that there's going to be videos. There's going to be, maybe some demonstrations. But it's going to be, I try to keep it interesting and meaningful. I don't read books to you. So I don't try not to read, videos to you. I mean, I want you guys to be able to do this and have fun and realize that we're not going to be used traditional methods here. Now, again, we use a combination of live and remote instruction. Now, how is that? Because we're all remote, right? Technically, yeah, we are. But when I mean live, I'm talking about when I'll do a live demo and I'll record it. And, sometimes I'll do like a live demo with you where, we'll be on Zoom together and I'll do something with you. So I do things live and remote. Like remote might be, for example, like I'll have a video for you, like the video you're going to watch today. Well, when you're done with this, it's remote. It's something that's part of your material. And rather than giving you a book, we're going to have a video that you can watch. Now, again, that's kind of remote because it's not me doing it, and it was actually recorded about a year ago. So it's not something that's live, that's happening right in front of you, or just happened about a week ago. Anyway, also, I will help you to the extent to match the effort you put into this course. In plain language, I will try as hard as you do. Okay, if you are busting your butt in this class, I will bust my butt with you. If you're not showing up, again, not physically, but if you're not kind of doing your work and I don't think you're doing the reading because maybe your questions are covered extensively in, not the reading, in the viewing, in the material, I might ping you, I might ding you a little bit and say, did you do the reading? I mean, I'll be nice about it. Again, please don't think of me as some adverse, stodgy schoolmaster. I'm not going to come there with a ruler and smack you with it. All right, got to be careful because I can probably get in trouble for saying that. But metaphorically, I'm not going to do that. I'm here to help you. I'll say, did you do the reading? Well, yeah, I did. Okay, well let's do the reading and let's look at what your question is. I try to lead you to drink, rather than give you answers. I try to I do spoon feed you a little bit. I mean, just to get, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. But after that, you're on your own. If you're not doing the reading, you're not doing your assignments, my first attempt is going to be, let's find out why you're not doing the reading and not doing the assignments, because if you're doing the reading and assignments, you're going to be answering your own questions. Or maybe I missed something. I'm open to that too. Sometimes I do get that, where I get half the class will ask me something, and then I know something's up. I'm like, Bob, maybe you didn't cover this as much as you should have. Maybe you should just go out there and put out something supplementary. But we cover that as we go. Long story short, put in the effort, and I will be your partner all the way through the course. Now, here is a course schedule. I'm almost done here. Here is a course schedule. Now, in the course schedule, this is just our weeks, and don't panic about these days. These days are the start of the week. So don't look at this and say, well, we don't meet on August 24th and 31st. Yeah, well, I know that, but that's the start of the week. So these weeks usually start on a Monday. They do. And if they don't, I got a typo and I'll fix it. So here is really what our roadmap looks like between now and the end of our time together in December. Now, again, take a look at this. I'm not going to read it to you. If you have any questions, let me know. Obviously, these are going to be big topics that it's going to be the focus of each individual week. And then we have our assignments. Now, our assignments are going to be a combination of short essays. Again, short. This isn't an English class, but I do look for critical thought for some of this stuff. So there's going to be some essay components, in 100 words or less, explain to me something. But a lot of these assignments are going to be hands-on lab assignments. How is that going to work? You're going to find out. But I'll give you the tools, and I'll give you and I'll demo what we're going to do. And there'll be, the assignments will be, exercises, hands-on exercises with, reading, hex dumps or reading digital data. Some of them will be just simple assignments where I'd want you to maybe do more of a case study. But each assignment's going to be kind of different, but they're going to be achievable. I promise you that. Don't worry about this right now and look and say, I don't know what's going to be in assignment 9, going to court. I don't have a legal. Don't worry about it. We'll cover all this stuff when we get to it. But look at the grading, and also take a look at our final date is December 14th. If you have any questions about the timing of this, drop dates or the dates of you can switch and maybe switch into another class, or dates with the final, please let me know. That's great. One thing I'm going to tell you right off the bat is the midterm and the final is going to be electronic, and it's not going to be timed, or you don't need to be in a specific spot. Very big question, especially for those of you that might be traveling over the holidays. Bob, I'm going back home in the middle of December. When can I take my final? Well, if you have internet wherever you're going, you can take the class. All right, anyway, so let's look at the assignments and the grading. Okay, your midterm and your final are only worth 10%. There's a reason for that. I never liked going to school and my professor giving me a final that's 50% of my grade, and a midterm it's 50% of my grade. I just thought that's way unfair. So being a teacher myself, I'll give you a solid, and I'm like, all right, let's put most of our points on our weekly assignments. Why? Because that puts 80% of the grade in your hands right now. Right now, you have 80% of your points in your hands on these assignments. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, I can't do assignments 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. No, but you will. So you have the opportunity to build up these points as you go. So you don't, when I say they're in your hands, I mean you don't have to wait for me to drop a test on you. Okay, you are going to accumulate points as you go. Also, with these assignments, and I have a couple questions on this. These assignments, we work on them together if you want to. You can reach out to me and say, Bob, I have a question on assignment 1. Great, what is it? Want to do email? Do you want to do Skype? Do you want to Zoom? What do you want to do? So we can talk about this. So my job is to help you succeed in these assignments. It's not to just throw it at you over the wall and say, here, do it. And then you turn it in. And I'm like, nope, it's wrong. You get a C- on it. That's not how I do things. Unless you want to. If you want to do it that way, we can. It certainly will save me time. But usually on these assignments, you're going to, maybe not usually, but you have the opportunity to work interactive with me on this or each other. I always tell people, if you want to form your own organic study groups, you can. Again, that's another benefit of doing things virtually. Will I pair you guys together? No, because some of you don't want to work together. Some of you do. I'll let that happen. I'll let you guys figure out on your own how that's going to work. If you guys want to form a union of all your students, of all your classmates, and all meet on Zoom and do your assignments together, great, do it. It just make sure when you turn it in, it is just yours. I shouldn't have to say that, but I will. Make sure it's not just a copy of everything. But anyway, your weekly assignments, that's what I encourage you guys to do. And again, I let that happen organically, meaning I don't pair you together. Because again, no one likes that guy. I did not like to do group projects. So I was always I went to school probably 30 years before you. And I always go to my professor and say, please don't put me in a group project. I just don't want to do it. I want to do it by myself. I'll be friendly. I'm sociable. I'll say hi. I will bring in coffee and donuts to the class, but don't make me work with them. I want to do things on my own. I'm still kind of like that. Some of you aren't. Some of you, this is part of it. You got your buddy, and you want to do things together with him or her. Do it, please, 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 please. So that's your 80%. Now, your midterm and your final, again, are fairly simple. They're going to be electronic. Obviously, they're not going to be timed, and you could take them anywhere. All right, so you have now, below that, you have your grading. And again, this is the standard college grading system. No surprises there. Okay, now for attendance, how do you attend? This is how you attend. Okay, I'm going to go to our syllabus, right? Remember, everything's in our syllabus, or linked to. I'm going to go to our attendance, and this is our attendance sheet. So what I'd like you guys to do is go to our attendance sheet regularly and just put in that you just attended class. And this is the roster I have for all of us. So this might change. I mean, if you drop, you're not seeing this anyway. But if you don't see your name here, let me know. If you don't see your name here, I need to find out why. But we should be squared away. I just updated this just a few minutes ago. So we should be squared away on this. Now, this is self-explanatory. Just put an X that you attended class and you're good. Now, why do you do this? Well, it helps me understand what you're getting and what you're not getting. And that's why I don't necessarily put a big emphasis on, I don't know, how do I say this? I hate to say I don't want you to attend class, but I do know that sometimes I need to be flexible and patient with you, because sometimes there's other things that come up. But if, for example, and I'm going to pick on Dan here just because I know Dan, let's just say Dan's not here on the 26th and September 2nd. Dan, again, I'm just picking on you because I know you. We go way back. Don't fib and say you were here if you're not. I'm not going to come down on you, but it will help me understand why maybe you're not understanding something. Again, I use this as a tool. I use it not for discipline, but to say, okay, Dan, you missed the 2nd, the 9th, and the 16th. Okay, well, that makes sense because that's when it was covered. So it helps me, get to Dan and communicate with him what, his concerns and questions may be, and I'll know why, But however, if I see, I'm going to click on who else do I know? Nick, I know. Hey, JT, I know you too. So I wonder if you're working at the zoo, JT. I know that you had that cool gig there, so I'm curious how things are going for you. So reach out to me and let me know. But let's just say JT, Nick, and Dan reach out to me. And again, I'm picking on you guys because I know you guys. And say that you're not getting something. And I notice that you've been to those classes. Then I'll know that I'm not doing something right. Or how about this? It's you'll know this about me. It's about getting it right, not being right. And I need to fix something. Because all of a sudden now, a third of my class has told me that they're not understanding something when I thought it was covered. So I have to go back and fix something or find out what's going on. So that's what attendance is for. It's not for discipline as much as it's for me to get feedback on what's going on. What do? Just put an X in here and you're good. That's it. And again, notice we're on Google Drive, right? Everything's electronic. See what's going on here? As long as you can get to the internet, you can attend class. It's all linked to from our syllabus. Go to our syllabus. You're going to have all your You're going to have the course map. Go to the syllabus. You're going to have the link to the attendance sheet and then more on your assignments now. So let me close our attendance sheet and go back to here. So at the bottom of the attendance, you're going to see our assignments. Now, we only have one assignment now because we only have one assignment. This is the first of class, right? So we only have one assignment. This is the first week. Now, as we go, I'm going to be adding to this. How many assignments do we have? Raise your hand for an imaginary extra credits bonus point. All right. We have 10, right? How do you know? You go to the syllabus and it shows when those 10 are approximately due. Here's where you see them. You're going to see links to them here. So assignment 2 through 10 are not available yet. Only assignment 1 is. Now, as we go through the semester, you will see this change. I will post assignment 2, 3, and so on and so forth. Now, let me go back. Let me rewind to when we first started talking about this. Now, I want you to check the syllabus a couple times a week. That's really all you need to do because I'm not going to surprise you and post an assignment that's due tomorrow. I'm not going to surprise you and post an assignment that's even due at the end of the week. I promise you, I will give you at least 1 week on these assignments, most likely 2, right? So that way there's no assignments and you're not freaked out about missing something. Just check it regularly and we're good. Now, as we go further with the class, I'll probably even be posting even ahead of that, where I might, depending on how things go and if everyone's doing okay, say the 1st of, October, I might just post, assignments 5, 6, and 7 if you want to get ahead. Generally, I don't like you to do that, but I'm saying is we can be flexible. For now, this is where you find your assignments. So let's look at one. I have assignment 1. Okay, this is a cake assignment, okay? I'm not supposed to give you like really, really easy stuff. So everyone, if you're not in CIS238, leave the room. All right, this is just between us. All right, I gave you kind of an easy one just to kind of get you started. So anyway, from our syllabus, go to our assignment, and you give it a click, right? Now notice, again, Google Drive. Everything is electronic. I'm going to give it a click and open it up. Here is assignment 1, and you're all, drum roll please. Okay, now remember our first assignments, actually our first 2 are going to be pretty simple. I want you to get some easy points just to get into it. I don't want to freak you out in the first couple of weeks. Notice a couple things. All right, number 1, this is where you're at. All right, CIS238, and you got the assignment number on it, and it's got the due date. Notice the due date. It's the 7th of September. This is due. Now, at the time of this recording, I'm recording this on the 25th of August. And I posted it on the 25th, maybe after midnight, the 26th of August. And it's due on September 7th. This is kind of what you're going to get. I'm going to post these and have them due within a couple weeks or so. Now, notice that the due date of September 7th is on a Sunday. I just keep that kind of just so you know that everything's due on a Sunday. So anyway, those are the due dates. Now, what I do here is I'll put in just, what I want you guys to do. Like, for example, this is a very simple assignment. This is the first week. I just want you to get into the swing of things. So we have the viewing here. Now, the viewing is going to be sometimes a video, sometimes a demo, sometimes an animation. And usually there's going to be more than one link, but just this time there's going to be one. Okay, so you give this link, and then there's your material. This is what you used to call reading, okay, but we call it viewing mixed media now, but this is your material. Again, no books to buy. You click on this stuff. So, question, hey Bob, where do I find the reading for the assignment? go to each assignment and look on the bottom for viewing. Now, you're going to see like one link here. Usually you're going to see links for me too. Like it'll say my lecture or Bob's demo. I'll make it obvious. Bob's demo on disk imaging or Bob's demo on IP tracing and trace routing. Bob's demo on routing tables. So I'll make it obvious the ones that are me and the ones that might not be. But anyway, I'm just kind of giving you the 411 there. So here are the assignments, and I usually tell you how you turn it into me. I'm going to change that. I'm going to say email me when done. Now, I get to edit these because I'm the professor, but you guys just get to read them. So anyway, so here's your assignments. And I always have them like, I call them do's. You know, do this, do one, do two. I know it sounds like I'm barking orders, but sometimes in an assignment, you don't know what you're supposed to deliver. So I try to just make it easy and say, you know, do. In 100 words or less, identification and preservation are two very important stages of a digital forensic investigation. What are a few challenges of preserving digital evidence? Email me when done for grading. That's simple. You have to be able to understand that. Okay, so that's what you do. Now, this is how this works. Another good question. Do you submit this in Blackboard? No. Well, then how does this work? Well, if you submit it in Blackboard, it doesn't allow us, it does somewhat. It doesn't allow us the back and forth that I want. I rather you and I work on this, and you see here email, and Bob doesn't like email. Well, individual emails is fine. If JT or Thomas or any of the other people that I know email me this, that's fine because that's really an individual conversation. It's electronic, but it's okay. But it allows us to work interactively. JT, I notice here that you mentioned about the challenges of preserving digital evidence. And I'll try to get discussion points on it. I'm like, hey, that seems like, you know, a good observation. It looks like you actually have some experience with this. Do you? And then you'd say, oh yeah, as a matter of fact, this actually happened to a friend of mine where they had their cars, whatever. But I mean, it leads to interaction. I don't think that Blackboard when submitting assignments leads to that. I think it's kind of like it's like one and done, you know. And also, I don't like submissions in Blackboard for the following. And again, I'll pick on you, JT. You know, hi Bob, I submitted something in Blackboard, but I want to submit this again. Or Thomas might say, all right, I submitted something in Blackboard, but after looking at it and after looking at your feedback, I want to change my submission. To me, that starts to be a little bit more, okay, now I got to go to Blackboard. It's easier for us to keep this interactive this way, where we could provide feedback sometimes in real time on these assignments. When you're done, you just give it to me. Say, I'm here it is, I'm done. It's easy. And if and then we're finished. And then what I'll do is I'll give you your grade. It's usually graded, it's always graded on a scale 1 to 5. 5, you knocked it out of the park. 4, it's pretty good. I could give you, the metrics on that if you like. 3, you pretty much got it. 2, you looked at it, did some work. 1, you put your name on it. It's more complicated than that. But I don't really nitpick about your grade. It's a 5, 4, 3, 2, or a 1. I don't agonize over, is it a 96 or a 94? No. That just takes way too much time. So anyway, this is good. I think so because it allows you to do better if you want. You could look at this and say, okay, well, I'm going to implement Bob's feedback, or I'll say, hey, Thomas, based on the things that we talked about, are you going to change your assignment? You might say, no, I'm good. I got a 4 out of 5 and I'm really busy doing other things. I'm perfectly cool with that. So anyway, that's where your assignments are. That's how you approach your assignments. Now, again, grading, you get 10 assignments for the semester, right? They're going to be posted at least 1, probably 2 weeks in advance of the due date. Gives you plenty of time. It gives us time to work together. It gives us time to schedule when you want to have individual Bob time. It gives us time for all of that. Okay, and then you have your midterm 10%. That's going to be easy peasy. And then your final, which is 10%. That is the deliverables for the class. Now, I'm going to close the assignment and point out again that we go back to our syllabus, which you have a link to. Remember, go to the syllabus. I know, I'm a broken record. Go to the syllabus twice a week, 3 times a week. Scroll down, look to see here, your attendance, give it a click. Hey, Bob, I was here. Look at your assignments, give them a click. On your assignment, this is what you do. Here's your material to help you do it. Simple, right? I should have started with that staying, but now you know the rest of the story. All right, that's all I had for you today. This is the easiest class you're going to have, really. And I don't got to go through this anymore, right? And guess what? I don't got to spam you anymore. The whole class. You guys know where to go. You know what to do. You know what you need to do to be successful. So that's all I have for you today. Please reach out to say hi if you want, and we can start the proverbial ball rolling. So thank you for making it this far in the video. Hopefully I didn't scare any of you off. We're going to have a great semester. This is really cool stuff in a hot field. And I'll do my best to make this exciting and not dry. And we're going to learn a ton, and we're going to have fun. And we're going to get a lot of really cool, go through a lot of really cool material. So thank you for your time. And I bid you all a very well rest of the day. Thank you.